Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Rick Joyner spent 8 hours in heaven with God. Yeah, sure he did, but that's what we'll look at today. So his story starts off with Rick Joyner taking a 9-hour motorcycle ride and then spends 8 hours in heaven with God. And during this time, God promotes Rick from servant to friend. We'll skip the motorcycle part, but I'll leave the link below.
Welcome to my world, where it's naturally supernatural. My guest so provokes me to jealousy. He had a season with Jesus in which he could ask any question he wanted. How would you like to do that? And get answers. Then he goes to heaven for 8 hours and comes back with a message from heaven that I tell you is going to change your destiny forever. But, you know, it blows my mind. I can see us humans looking for friends. It's hard for me to fathom. God, would you say he's desperate for this friendship?
He said he didn't have many friends, and that's what shocked me.
Okay, I understand why you're a friend. You paid the price, you did all those things, you had the servant mentality, you get promoted. But what about every believer? I mean, are we Swiss cheese?
No. Of course, and I don't know why he said that, to his disciples. There was a point where he says, I no longer call you servants, but now I call you friends. There was something as a promotion. By the way, they got that promotion much faster than I did. I've been a servant for 40 years, and I don't even think a very good one. I would say, I'm trying my best, but this isn't that great. But he grades on a curve. Thank the Lord,
So you're saying anyone can be where you're at and go further? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I think they could do it much faster, much better. I don't want them to. I want to be the best friend God's ever had, but I say I don't want him to. He deserves the best we could have. I want him to have great friends.
Well, I want you to come on this adventure. I'm coming on this adventure, and if I'm coming, you're coming. We're going to get God so many friends, but it starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with Rick. When we come back, I want to find out how you go swimming with Jesus.
So let's be clear. Blasphemous Sid Roth is quite wrong implying that God is desperate for friends. God is not desperate for anything. God doesn't need anything or anyone. He suffers no lack, knows no limitation, and experiences no deficiency. He is, I am that I am, with no qualification or exception. If he needed anything to stay alive or feel complete, then he would not be God. Acts makes this clear, saying the God who made this world and all things in it, since he is Lord of heaven and earth, does not dwell in temples made with hands, nor is he worshipped with men's hands, as though he needed anything, since he gives to all life, breath, and all things. Let's take a quick look at the verse on friendship with God, because there's a couple of different views on this. I've always loved the song Friend of God, especially the version by Phillips, Craig, and Dean. I'll leave a link to their video below so you can check it out. It's awesome. The verses speaking about this friendship are in John 15, verse 15 to be specific. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends. For all things that I heard from my Father, I have made known to you. If we look at Romans 5:10, it says, For if, being enemies, we were reconciled to God through the death of his Son, much more, having been reconciled, shall we be saved in his life. The New Living Translation says, For since our friendship with God was restored by the death of his Son, while we were still his enemies, we will certainly be saved through the life of his Son. So in one sense, we could say that yes, we are all friends of God if we are born again. But if we look at this in a bit more context and read the previous verses, we read in verse 14, You are my friends if you do whatever I command you. Our obedience is evidence of our friendship. In other words, when we are his friends, then we obey him. Another way of reading this is to note that Jesus didn't call them his friends until he said this. Until then, they were his servants and not his friends. The servant doesn't know what the master is planning, and this may be true for many Christians today. Many have lost the focus on the personal relationship with God and instead focus on what he can do for us, like with the prosperity gospel. And what is the command we are to follow? Verse 12 and 17 tells us that if we love one another as Christ loved us, if we are walking in love, then we are his friends. But I'm quite certain that Rick Joyner did not spend 8 hours in heaven with God, that God is definitely not desperate for friends, and Rick did not go swimming with Jesus. As always, leave your thoughts and comments below. Check out the Friends of God song, and until next time, take care and God bless.